Hello, I'm Rico, one of the designer of the cinematic role-playing game Outgunned, and I'm here to show you how to make your hero in Outgunned. So, starting from the basis, on my right you can see the actual character sheet for Outgunned and all the steps that you need to follow in order to create your hero, your playable character in Outgunned. So first of all, you have to choose your role. There are 10 roles in Outgunned and a bunch of other roles in Action Flicks and World of Killers. Then we are going to fill out our personal data, and then we are going to choose a trope and add all the attributes, skill points, choose a handful of feature, and we are ready to go. So, first things first, we want to take a look at the roles. As said, there are 10 roles in Outgunned. In the core book, for example, you will find the commando, the agent, the fighter, the ace, the nobody, the face, the brain, the sleuth, the criminal, and the spy. And your role is going to determine what kind of hero you want to play, what's going to be your actual role, in the group of heroes that you're going to play with. So, for example, if I choose the fighter, as I'm going to do for this tutorial, I'm going to rely on my fist, and I'm going to be the the brown of my group. For each of the roles, you will find 2 pages in the core book. One page you will find beautiful art of the role and a list of classic, protagonists in movies that will fit into this role. So maybe you can get an idea. Like for example, for the fighter, we have Lee in Enter the Dragon, but also Beam in RRR, which is a movie that I actually highly recommend to you all. But also Master Ip Man from the Ip Man saga and Rocky Balboa, and all those characters from the movies that actually fight with their fists or kicks. So when I choose a fighter, the role fighter, I will take all the characteristics of a fighter, which are 1 attribute point, different skill point, 10 different skill points, and I have access to some starting gear and also 2 features from a list of 6. My role will also suggest some jobs, some catchphrases, and some flows that will work best with this role. But that said, you can choose your own job, your own catchphrase, and your own flow. So let's get to the character sheet, and here, as you can see, I choose already a name for my character, which is Savar Khan, and I choose, of course, a role, which is going to be the fighter, and then I have filled all my personal data. The trope, we will come to the trope in a minute, then the job, and I chose an extra because he works in, in movies and stuff. Age, I've chose adult, but more on age in a little bit. And then I have to choose a flow and a catchphrase. Now this is basically the background of my character, so everything in this game comes to your flow and your catchphrase. Now the catchphrase for your character is his motto, his words to live by. It's that kind of phrase that will tell you a lot of his, of their personality, and will help you have a guideline to play the character. For example, for Savar Khan, I've choose as motto, this is a piece of cake, because Savar Khan really takes things lightly, is very strong, is very handsome, and for him, everything is easy. And this catchphrase will also come handy during the game because it will allow me to get more spotlight as I play, but more on spotlight in just a minute. Then I have to choose a flow, and as a flow, I've chosen I am overconfident, which is, the mirror of this is a piece of cake, because Samarkand is just the way it is. After I filled all these, personal data, I will then go to the actual attributes and skill of my character. So, as you can see, everything is already on the roll. So as a fighter, I will have 1 more point in brawn and 1 more point in endure and fight and force and stand and all the skills that are written under characteristic of a fighter. So I will add 1 point to brawn, and you always have 2 starting points in an attribute and 1 single starting point in a skill. So brawn, which is the attribute, of course, of fighting and showing your strength, and then I have to add endure and fight, force, stand, of course, cool, and then down to flirt and leadership, style, heal, and dexterity. And these are all skills and attributes given by my role. Next step is to choose my feats. And my feats, I have 6 feats I can choose from, and I have to choose 2 of them. But this is only something to make it easier for you to make your hero when you've never played the game. So you have this small pool of feats. When you advance, when you gain, new skill, going on with your adventure, you will actually be able to choose any kind of feat from the feat list. So you are not going to be tied anymore to your role once you start playing. This is only a way to ease you into the game. And you have a list of feats that will look a little bit like this on the core book. And we essentially have 2 kind of feats. The feat like lie to me, gain a free reroll for all rolls made to understand somebody's intention or to spot lies. So basically this is a feat that is always active. It's a passive skill. You always have a free reroll, so you have higher chance. You can push your luck basically all the time when performing a certain task. And you also have this kind of feats with the little lightning on the next to the name, like for example mastermind, that allows you to repeat 1 roll of any kind, ignoring all the -1 given by conditions and circumstances. And these are what we call active feats, so they will need you to spend adrenaline, which is represented by the little lightning, in order to perform them. So you have basically to use one of your resources to take advantage, of this particular feat. Back to my role, I have to choose between combo, counter, flying kick, hard to kill, martial arts, and punch reload. And of course, as many good fighter, I will start with martial arts, because it's one of the best skills, best feats that you can have, because martial arts will give you a free reroll every time you perform martial arts or you fight with your martial art style. And then I will go to flying kick, because I love flying kick. Flying kick, it's an activity I cannot do a little lightning here, but I will just leave an A. It's something I will need to spend adrenaline to perform, and flying kick will allow me to basically reach enemies that are far away from me with my flying kick. So basically my kick can work just as a normal gun, having the ability to reach far opponents. Halfway done, or a little bit more than halfway done making our character. Next come my trope. And tropes are a list of little title that your character can have, and they describe a little bit of their personality and how they approach. So a role is what you can do, what you are going to do, and your trope is basically how you are going to do, how you are going to handle all the situations, all the different situations. There is a very long list of tropes in the core book, and you, as always, find a lot more trope in Action Flick. I believe close to 14 or maybe more than 40 different tropes. And you can mix and match any role with any trope. Some example of trope, for example, Good Samaritan, for the hero who likes to help other, or hunk for those kind of, big and strong heroes, or the one I will choose for my Savarkhan, Jerk with a heart of gold, which is those, those kind of character who are a little bit, they seem to be serious, or not too serious, but just not the good guys, but in the end they always come up and do the right things because they do have a heart of gold. And a trope is kind of a mini role, if that makes sense, because it will give you skill points but a little less than your role. It will give you just one feat from a list of 4, and it will also give you one attribute point of your choice between 2 different attributes. Starting from the attributes, as you can see, as Jerk with a heart of gold on the right, top right, I can choose between brown or smooth. But if I go back to my character sheet for Savarkhan, I already have the 3rd point in brown. So this is not actually a choice for me. I will have to put my point in smooth. Now, if, for example, I would have chosen the last, the leader trope, I would have a choice between nerves and focus because I didn't have any of them. But as a Jerk with a heart of gold, I'm kind of forced now to put my attribute point in smooth. So this character is going to be based on brawn and smooth, so kind of strength and charisma if you want. Then I will move to my actual skill points. So from top to the bottom I have fight, and then I have survival and flirt and speech and style, dexterity, stealth, and streetwise. And then I get to choose my another feat from a list of 4, which are Heartbreaker, again martial arts, parkour, or silver tongue. And I'm really going to choose parkour because I think that Savarkhan is the kind of guy who wants to jump around through roofs and stuff. So now that I have this, my character sheets look a little bit like this. I have some skill points, I have some attributes points, I have all my personal data filled out. I have my feats, my starting feats, they're going to be 3, and then I can take more as I advantage during the game. Just a couple of things left to do. First of all, now I have 2 free skill points to customize my character, because up until now all of my skill have been decided by my role and my trope, but now I also have 2 free points to customize my character. I'm going to put 1 point in stunt because parkour, and another point I would say I like stealth because I like stealthy character, and also since I don't have the 3rd point in crime, it's good to maximize stealth, so at least I can roll 5 dice because each of these points will give me a dice on certain rolls. And then the last things to do is to add up all my starting resources. So I have 1 spotlight because every character starts with a spotlight, which is kind of the most important, the strongest, most powerful resource in Outgunned, because it will allow you to do basically anything 1 time. And then I have 1 adrenaline, and as said, adrenaline will allow us to do 3 things. 1, to activate such feats like flying kicks, who requires adrenaline, or to gain +1 to a single roll, or if you collect all 6 adrenaline, you can spend them to take a new spotlight, which is always useful. And then coming down to my character sheet, I also have one starting cash, which means I have some money in my pockets. And last but not least, I have some starting gear, and this depends on my roles, on my role. So, for example, for the fighter, I have one cash. This is the dollar symbol is the symbol for cash in Outgunned. One cash that I can spend on item of my choice. Other roles will give me one gun or a badge or lock picking tools and that kind of stuff. And there is a whole section dedicated to pieces of equipment and weapons in the core book. So you can choose from this list, or you can come up with your favorite item of choice, since there is also a list of suggested prices for different objects that are not actually addressed by the core rules. And that's basically it. I will add myself a good old knife, which is a piece of equipment that will cost just one cash. And still, I'm a martial artist. I don't need a knife, but maybe to cut some ropes to free someone, it's always good to have something. And that's how a character sheet should look like when you start playing. One thing that we didn't address is the age for your character. You have an option playing Outgunned to choose between 3 different ages. One is adult, which is the basic age for your everyday hero, and you can choose also to be young or to be old, and this will give you different feats. For example, old will give you an additional starting feats of your choice, while young will give you the too young to die feats instead of one of the original role feats. But all of this is in the roles and tropes section in the core book. So I think that was about everything on how to create your character in Outgunned. So thank you for being here, and hopefully this tutorial will give you everything you need to start playing right now. See you next time for another tutorial on how to manage enemies.